In the second.
Could be quarterback run here, too.
Mayava scans. Mayava throws. End zone. Lemon! Oh! He makes the grab! Touchdown, SC! Now up 14, and King Miller getting it done again! Down the sideline! And finally caught up! Game. And Sayeri got it! Career long, and Sayeri continues.
Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. It's a beautiful day out here in Southern California. POR SBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Also, you can check out my writing at LA Football Network. That's lafootballnetwork.com. I did a story on the Trojans before this big game against Michigan, so you definitely want to check that out. And then I'll be doing some more stuff about what's next for the Trojans as they get ready for Notre Dame. And then it's put on waivers _podcast. Put on waivers _podcast. You can check my stuff out there as well. Everybody was pumped, and the Coliseum was full. The Coliseum was vibrant. The Coliseum seemed like it was very into it in every aspect of the game. Those overhead shots, those drone shots that NBC put on Saturday were just amazing. It was just good to see the place full and looking vibrant and looking great. And it was just beautiful. Those shots were beautiful, and USC played beautiful as well too. Not everything was perfect, but the running game was intense. The defensive line, offensive line play was absolutely fantastic. So shout out to Zach Hansen, shout out to Coach Henny, and everything like that. But this is also a shout out to the depth of the running back room and what we have seen from Zach Hansen and his fine work on the offensive line. And the two groups, and every year it's a group of individuals who get ravaged by injury in every football season. You never know who it's going to be. This year it's the running back room and the offensive line. And without Elijah Page, this game didn't feature a lot from Waymont Jordan. Waymont Jordan was out. So was Eli Sanders. But then steps in King Miller. King Miller just comes in and does a great job. Just 158 yards, 8 yards a carry. The third and long. The USC Trojans and Lincoln Riley stuck to the run in this ball game, which I thought was cool. They stuck with the run. They ended up getting a 49-yard 49-yard run on 3rd and 20. So that was huge in this game. And they just stuck to the run. They just did not, they were unrelenting running the football. And this was another game where they ran the football more than they actually passed it. They ran the ball 36 times. They passed it 32 times. And, they did in this game, and they had, just a really, a bad fumble by Lake McCree. They had probably the worst play of the season by Jaden Mayava, running out of bounds, throws the ball back in bounds, and ends up being a interception, especially on 3rd and goal. But with all that being said, they really dominated this game. It kind of just prolonged the inevitable, if you will, because USC just dominated this football game. I think, Sharon Moore has to be careful. He has a great job. He has a job at a blue blood. But at the end of the day, when you start talking during the week, and then your coach starts talking during the week, and they're going to say, oh, we're going to out-physical this team. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. When you do those things, Now, obviously, you fire up the other squad, but when you can't deliver on it, it makes everything it makes all your words look hollow. Jim Harbaugh, when he was there, didn't talk that much. He gave you some really ridiculous, crazy stories that basically went nowhere and just distracted you. But at the end of the day, the proof was in the pudding. Whether they cheat or not, whatever. But they end up winning these games. And they end up winning big games left and right at Michigan. So I think he has to be careful of that. Underwood, the defensive line at USC made it very difficult for him. They one of these when you have these young quarterbacks and you have these guys who are great athletes and still have to work on the quarterback part of their game. You see USC just take advantage of that, blitz them, play really good man to man. I think he had one design quarterback run where he got away, but for the most part, they did a great job of keeping him in the pocket, making it difficult for him. Challenging the Michigan receivers. They did everything they didn't do at Illinois. Again, they did everything they didn't do at Illinois. It was absolutely, just amazing. So great job by SC. Great job by Dante Lynn, who just kind of rebounded in this situation. And I think they just matched the physicality. Because one thing about, we can say what we want uh about Michigan, they are a physical football team, and they want to run it, and they want to break your will physically, and they weren't able to do that in this game against SC. They weren't able to do that at all. Also, you look at I think the one guy who from Michigan who talked about the USC in a respectful way was Wink Martindale, and he talked about they just really have tremendous skill, and you saw the tremendous skill on display from the wide receivers, from the tight ends. Lake McCree had a play over the middle late in the game where he just got pounded, went to the ground, held onto the football. Um, Walker Lyons got involved, so he continues to play well, and everything that could go in their direction went their direction, but you didn't feel like it was like anything that was luck. Nothing was really luck for SC in this game. It was just they forced their will on this football game, and they showed up in the scoreboard. They showed up in the line play, and it showed up in these just gaudy running numbers that they put up with King Miller. King Miller put on a highlight show. Great game by him. And right now, just USC's they're keeping hope alive. If you're hoping for a playoff situation with SC, the hope is still alive, and it would have been great if they had beat Illinois and they were 6-0 right now. I mean, you'd feel really good about that. But they come in, they went to the game unranked. They come in, then now they leave the game. I think they're either 20 or 18 in the rankings right now. I don't want. I'm not. This isn't a game. We have plenty of week to talk about Notre Dame, but just for this game, I mean, the defense only get up 13 points in the ball game against a quality opponent is definitely something really good. Lincoln Riley's tremendous game plan of just getting the ball out quickly. Screen passes to Wayman Jordan, screen passes to King Miller, screen passes to Makai Lemon. Like they were just all over the place. They were able to get the ball out quickly. And just not, giving up any big plays. And good job by Jaden Mayava recognizing when the Wolverines were playing off coverage. That helped out a whole lot too as well. You get them in off coverage situations, and it's just the easy. You run down the field 8 yards, you turn around, you catch the ball, boom up the field for a first down. I think the only mistake that I saw a mistake by the receivers in this game was I think one time Tanu Kynes dropped, turned around, had a wide open reception, dropped it, and he had a lot of room to run would have been a big play, but it is what it is. It happens sometimes. But for the most part, they spread the ball around. They got everybody involved. Jacoby Lane had 5 catches and a touchdown as well. And then, every week we see Mekhi Lemon just put on the show. Every week we see Mekhi Lemon take his game to that next level. Right before the end of the half, we talk about winning the middle 8, if you will, all the time. Winning the middle 8 is so vital in these games, and he was able to just go ahead and make a spectacular catch. A back shoulder that was just amazing there. I mean, he just reminds me of, he's like Amon St. Brown with more speed. I don't know how else to describe Mekhi Lemon. And he's just a guy who just makes this game. The game is really slow for him this year. And he makes everybody look, he makes everything look great. I mean, he just is so phenomenal. And he has a great rapport with Jaden Mayava. I mean, Mayava and Lemon are just really just playing great football together, and it's really fun to watch. 25 receptions there, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different Trojans caught passes in this ball game. So I want to give those guys props. Also want to give props to USC for after they lost Wayman Jordan, after they lost Eli Sanders, they made a call to the Big Ten and talked about, hey, this is like a wellness issue. We don't have any more running backs. You saw Tabarucci come in to play running back on one play, and they went out there and they ended up getting Brian Jackson into the ball game, and he came in with 5 runs for 35 yards and a touchdown, 7 yards a carry in the ball game because he was listed as out. So now USC is in a situation where going into next week, I think they, right now they got Brian Jackson, and they also have King Miller. I think, I'm not, listen, I would tell them what to do as far as bringing up who they need to bring up, but with King Miller, Brian Jackson, I would bring up Harry Dalton. I'd bring up Harry Dalton III and Riley Wormley if they're physically healthy and ready to go, because this toll that they have on this running back room, you really don't want to lose King Miller. Because if you lose King Miller, you lose a lot of explosiveness. You lose a lot in your team if you lose King Miller. So the last thing you want to do is overwork him to the point where he is going to be a guy who you lose in this situation. Obviously, Jackson and Miller are going to be toting the rock a lot. But going down the stretch here, you have a bye week coming up after the Notre Dame game. You need to have a healthy running back room as much as you can. So you got to spread the wealth, spread these carries out. You can't afford any more injuries there. And especially now, once you get past, you're talking about, I'm not saying bottom of the barrel, but you lose the breakaway ability when you start getting into the Brian Jacksons of the world, because he's more of a guy in between the tackles. Not that he can't break away, but you want to be able to have one guy who can catch the ball in the backfield and break away and make plays. That would be cool. That'd be cool to see if they were able to bring out all those running backs up, get them up to speed, and get them ready to go. So thank God there. But just recapping the 31-13 victory USC over Michigan. I think they are still the only team in college football. I think Michigan could have tied the series. USC is the only team in college football to have a winning record against Ohio State and Michigan. So that's part of it. I will say the reason why I think you see certain teams, kind of talk against SC is the fact that these other schools realize what it's going to be like for them if SC ever turns the corner. And this was a big victory. And we talked about when they lost to Illinois, they kind of needed a 3-game win streak. If they want to keep this, they keep hope alive, a portion of the season and try to make a playoff, they need to win 3 games straight. And if they were able to win this 3 games straight, if they're able to if they're able to do something here in this ball game, I would say for sure they desperately need to to win these 3 games in a row. It started with Michigan. It'll come if they beat Notre Dame and don't lose to them 3 straight times, and then they come off the bye week, and then you end up playing Nebraska and beating Nebraska. They kind of need that. I think Lincoln is probably kind of due in these situations here because he hasn't his record. I didn't realize his record against ranked opponents at Oklahoma was 15-6, and then now he's 5-11. He was 4-11 before the Michigan game. Now he's 5-11 against ranked opponents at USC. So this can't be a one-off thing here. I mean, you're playing Notre Dame in South Bend. I mean, those are the years when USC has won those games that they become special. And I think this team has a chance to do that. They don't even realize how good they are because they keep making these little mistakes in these ball games to keep the other team in the game. I mean, it just every week they're just keeping teams in the game. If they can just play a clean game on the in South Bend, I think they have a chance. I think they can be able to take it to that next level. But you heard, when USC joined the conference, you heard the Iowa coach talk trash. You hear people talk trash here and there, but they know that if SC gets it going, they know what they can do in this conference. It could be a difficult task for anybody to beat them in this conference. So they had Lincoln Riley had a landmark home victory. Now let's see if he can get a landmark road victory out there in Notre Dame. All right. Student Body Right, USC podcast, recapping the 31-13 win over the Wolverines. A good win for this team. 5-1 right now. 3-1 in Big Ten play. So we'll see what happens when they go to Notre Dame. And this is the Keep Hope Alive tour this week. We'll see if they can continue to go do what they do. All right. See you next time. Fight on, and we'll be in. We have some stuff coming for you this week. Obviously, with a big game against Notre Dame. We'll take it from there. We'll see if we can get somebody from the Notre Dame side on the show this week because I know you guys love. I don't love the rivalry like everybody else does, but I understand. I understand what this game means to Notre Dame. And I understand what this game means to Southern California fans. And it's a big game, and it's a big game because both teams are ranked and they're fighting for their playoff lives. So we'll see what happens. All right, see you next time. Peace.
The RPO, the throws intercepted this time cleanly. USC's got it, and Bishop Fitzgerald's got his second of the day and his third of the season. And that might do it.
You talk about reading a quarterback's eyes. This was anticipation by Fitzgerald on this play. You watch him, he all the way right here is on the quarterback. His eyes are on the quarterback's eyes. He reads his play. Watch him.